When Watch Dogs first was shown at E3, it looked graphically amazing. But at launch, it was just fine. From a game dev point of view, how do things like this happen? Well, it really depends. There are usually two ways it happens. One is it is intentional and it is just marketing. I mean, even when I made that video today about Star Wars Outlaws, which I'm very excited about, and I'm like, look, I think it looks great, but I'm also I'm also very aware that this is the exact same developer who did The Division, which had a similar challenge as Ubisoft's other game, Watch Dogs, which is they released some absolutely stunning screenshots of a city scene in New York. And then when the game came out, it was a nice looking game, but it didn't look like that. And then they did it again, I guess, for Watch Dogs. So my guess is that's just business as usual at Ubisoft. They're like, give us a screenshot that really is reflective of the highest end PC of where we think tech will be when we release this game, if you have all the bells and whistles and the most expensive way to play this game. And then they kind of adjust based on that. I know that there was a law recently, or that there was a proposal of a law. It might have been in Europe. This stuff usually is in Europe. They have better consumer protection over there, where it was like you can't really do that anymore. But maybe it didn't pass, or maybe I'm remembering it wrong, because it doesn't seem like anything's changed. The other thing is, like, the puddles in Spider-Man. When you show a game at E3 and then you reveal the game for sale, could be 6 months later, a year later, whatever, a lot happens in those 6 months. So for example, I'm just making this up. I don't know if this is what happened in the case of Spider-Man. Spider-Man 1, 2018 looked great, but people were like, where's the puddles and the reflections and all that? For all I know, they went in and they made changes to Spider-Man's costume, or they added more joints to the enemies so the ragdoll could be more impressive when Spider-Man beats him up. And then they're like, okay, we're going to do that, but of course, that's going to hit the processor. So even though at E3, the game looked like this, we didn't have this many joints in the AI, or Spider-Man didn't have, this that was taking up memory slots or whatever. And so you got to rob Peter to pay Paul. That's what happens with an honest developer. But then when you have a publisher that's just trying to pull the wool over your eyes and get away with it because they can, my guess is that sounds a lot more like Ubisoft's Another Day at the Office. I don't think that's the case in something like Spider-Man. Did the new Spider-Man trailer move the needle for you at all, says Brett Moore? Yes, but only because, you know what it was? It was context. Right? And this is my fault as much as I think is the developer's fault, which is when they rolled out the Spider-Man 2 trailer at PlayStation Showcase, is where we first saw it, right? A couple months back. When you show up to that kind of show, there are expectations of the audience, especially if you've not shown much new first-party content for a very, very long time. And so in that, the expectations of we want to be blown away, those were the winds they were sailing against. And I think they got, hit a little bit because of it. Because there was an expectation and it wasn't met. It just looked like a really good DLC for Spider-Man. Actually, that's not true, because it had a pretty big mechanic shift with the two Spider-Man. But you know what I'm saying. It looked like more of the same for the most part. And I was like, I'll play it. I love Spidey, but whatever. But then when they showed the story trailer, it looked just good. It was interesting. But also I think because the expectations had been set and you're like, okay, if you're into this, it's because you're into the comfort food that Insomniac provides through their Spider-Man games. And so there's no reason in the world not to be, in my opinion, happy about games like that exist, that are just like, we're not trying to fucking put a dent in the universe. We're just here to sort of show you a good time, kill some time, make a game that really brings you a lot of joy, and you move on with your fucking life. And when you watch it through that lens, I was much more interested. But that was not the lens I was watching things through at the Sony showcase. But frankly, that's not my problem. That's what you get when you hold your shit so close to the vest for so long that people just start going, give me something new, give me something cool, blow my mind. And, that's what I would say.